Welcome to the Baldwin Kids Podcast, a space dedicated to talking about politics, mental health, and nerd culture viewed through the lens of two black queer people. Let's see, I am the bioluminescent K.
And I am the delicious Vesta.
Right, and how have you been so far? I know we've had a bit of a gap.
Yeah, y'all, listen, when you gotta work, shit don't want to work in your favor. Whenever you want to do things and you gotta work and you gotta go to school, things just don't happen. It's either work or school or you're broke. So I had to have some money. So I'm sorry that this gap was so long in between episodes. But
yeah, we're actually going to, at least for the foreseeable future, going to be moving to a bi-weekly upload.
Yeah.
Which is the downside, but on the other hand, the upside is we're moving to we're going to be adding SoundCloud to our platform. So, some of you audio-only girls can just, download SoundCloud and give us a listen.
Yeah, we got it all. It'll be up there. I think all 4 episodes are going to go up at the same time, or at least the first 3 are going to. Well, by the time this is up, they'll all be on SoundCloud by then.
Right. We should be looking to have everything expanded to SoundCloud by the week's end, though. Keep an eye on the Baldwin Kid Podcast Facebook page, and we'll be posting all of our updates there.
Yeah. So, what we starting with today?
All right. So, let's get started with Angry White People Part 2 Electric Boogaloo and how they cannot boycott to save their lives, clearly.
Oh, my God.
So, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because, honestly, I'm already tired.
And the whole situation needs no further commentary. Just when you hear what's happening and what happened afterwards, it's just...
So, everybody who is mad at Nike and supporting blah, 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 doesn't support the troops or doesn't support police, blah, 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 I hope you have a steaming hot plate of crow ready, because you need to start snacking, bitch, because despite how mad you all are and how bad you all are at boycotting, because you already bought the shit and now you're destroying it, they still have your money. But anyway.
It's literally the dumbest thing I've seen so far, but go on.
But Nike, actually, as of late, I believe as of the 14th or 15th, closed with a stock price of about 84 American dollars, which is so far their highest.
So y'all can just take your fucked up Nike shoes and cry about it, because whether Nike, as problematic as Nike is still,
sweatshop labor and all that,
they still know they're still a business, and there's a reason they're still so high in the game as they are. Is because one prime example is this marketing move right here.
Exactly. But yeah, like I said, be mad about it. Moving on. Speaking of moving on, clearly Kim Davis needs to move on to another dimension, because I'm already tired.
Yeah, she's still here. She's still acting a goddamn fool.
She's still got a 5 head.
Just 5 head all the way up to the heavens.
And wants to have the nerve to try to have any kind of be any kind of authority. I mean, granted, I guess she could call herself a bit of an authority on marriage, since she's been married like 3 or 4 times. But, Jesus, even though he himself said if you get divorced and then get married again, it's a sin, but,
we pick, y'all pick and choose in that little book of yours. So.
Yeah, but, cherry picking is one of the best activities for them. But, yeah, she decided to take her little hate parade all the way over to Romania.
She's trying to...
where she's campaigning against same-sex marriage there. And frankly, I'm tired and hope she gets attacked by a werewolf.
Honestly, I'm like, why are you going after the vampires? All they're going to do is kill you. Like, they're like, who's trying to do what? We can't have gay vampire babies? No, sorry, sis.
If she don't take her Capri Sun body ass somewhere else... I'm not trying to body shame, but honestly, every single picture that I've seen of her looks like somebody took a macro shot of a Capri Sun pouch and gave her outfit based on that. All of them. Like, she needs to find her lane and return to it toot sweet, and just stay there.
Her lane sounds like it just needs to be out of the country, because she's literally going, well, I'm not going to do well here, and everybody hates me, so I'm going to go to Romania so I can make more people hate me.
Yeah, but anyway, like I said, she's who? Exactly. All right, speaking of...
a mess.
Exactly. But moving on to infinitely more important people, our favorite neighborhood goddess, one Serena Williams.
Ooh.
She, at least in like the award ceremony bit, she lost to, what was her name, Naomi Osaka.
Yeah.
Lost to her with grace and was still congratulatory because I mean, black girl's still winning. Yes, Naomi is black.
Black.
She is Haitian and Japanese. As much as people want to forget that, yeah, she was born in. Was it Osaka or was it? She was born in Japan. So she is being touted as the first Japanese winner, but at the same time, don't forget that she is also still Haitian. And I actually found an old picture of like her and her mom and dad, and her mom was about that life, like bubble coat and everything.
Like, their whole family has been sickening since day one.
Exactly, but no, it's less about her, more about Serena. The way she was being treated, and I was too busy seeing red to look too far into what was happening, but I guess she was being cheated out of getting points or something.
She got docked for points because I don't remember what specifically it was, but it was something that a lot of players get docked for, and I need to look into the details some more. But essentially, she was being docked for points for something that she didn't do, and that the guy assumed she was doing anyway.
And she was told, and she kept saying that she wasn't coached on that or wasn't told that she had been, doing that wrong. But on the other hand, like whether or not she was being docked fairly or not, the reaction to her reaction is beyond unacceptable. We've got so-and-so McEnroe, whatever the hell his name is, throwing outright tantrums, cursing, breaking rackets and stuff.
And he's not the only fucking one. Like, when you look at the male tennis players, they act a fucking fool.
Like, you think these drag queens are divas? Listen.
They act a goddamn fool, throwing rackets, just throwing every insult in the book. I know one tennis player called a referee a faggot one time, like out of pure anger.
Shouldn't he have like automatically be, forfeit for unsportsmanlike conduct?
He's white.
And a man.
That ain't gonna happen.
So that's that.
And whoever was sponsoring him probably went to the associate and was like, "Shh, here's a stack of cash. Don't say, Don't do anything about it."
And the thing is, like, she was upset. She was visibly upset, but she was still sportsmanlike in her upset, in her being upset.
Right? She didn't throw no fuck. Listen? No disrespect to Serena, because she's a queen. If she threw a racket at that guy, he would be dead. You've seen her arms. We've all seen her arms. She's that bitch. She is the definition of an Amazonian woman out of the comic books. And
Like,
y'all want to test her.
We need her to play Nubia as
Please,
Diana's opposite.
y'all, DC, y'all ain't done shit right since Wonder Woman and before Wonder Woman. If y'all don't get Serena in here,
we can nerd out about a random Wonder Woman moment later.
Anyway,
but
yeah, it was absolutely out of pocket the way people have been treating Serena.
Like, can we let black women be angry?
Like, she can't be mad, and y'all went just to the whole left lane when you were making a right turn on this bullshit.
And then for that guy in Australia to have the nerve to draw that comic, drawing her with minstrel features,
blackface minstrel level.
And then lightening Naomi up to the point where she's almost unrecognizable in the background.
Yeah,
her hair is dyed blonde, but she still is still pretty damn brown. But, it's Australia. Casual reminder that America ain't shit, but Australia
is its second cousin,
is just as bad.
Yeah,
but yeah. So I'm already tired because the next thing is something. There's a part of me that wanted, I kind of want to avoid talking about the POTUS that shall not be named. But he has been doing so much that it's been dominating all of my news feeds.
It seems like I feel like he's still on writing out his tantrum for not being invited to McCain's funeral. I feel like he's throwing that big of a tantrum, so he's just doing all kind of bullshit to make himself relevant. Because you notice whenever something goes wrong for him, he does a million other bad things wrong right after, worse than he usually does.
I don't pay that much attention to it.
Bitch, listen.
I honestly am. I'm so tired of a petulant toddler behaving septuagenarian with a bad spray tan trying to run the country. Bruh, you look like your cousin's name is Nectarine.
Without any of the flavor.
something afraid of seasoning.
But anyway, this whole lied about He went on like just a full on lie on Twitter about Puerto Rico.
That the 3,000 plus person death toll was a number
Nah. Democrats did that. I'm still the greatest of all time.
that the response was an outright success and blah de blah, and like only 18 people died.
Please.
And meanwhile, you can go on any nonpartisan, you can go on any right wing, any left wing, anything.
And
that's
they'll report the right fucking count. Or
Exactly.
a similar count.
Exactly. And this all is coming up around the same time as September 11th, where everybody's like, man, don't forget, never forget, man.
But not them Puerto Ricans, though.
They're a little too brown for our
Yeah, a
sympathy,
little too
apparently.
brown. We can forget about them. Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Okay, sis. Yeah, he is just a whole entire mess. Like doing a successful double fist pump on the way to a 9/11 memorial. Which, I mean, to criticize that is on one hand a little bit petty, but on the other, you're walking into like what's
That
supposed
is
to be.
something that's serious.
Exactly.
Regardless of that is a serious American tragedy. Let's not even get into the specifics of whether it was an inside job, whatever the fuck. Regardless, hundreds of thousands of people died in that. Probably thousands, I should say. Died in that.
The death count total for both the Pentagon hit and the Twin Towers, I believe, is 2,900, give or take.
A couple thousand people died in that. That's a tragedy. American tragedy. That was a humongous terrorist attack on the country. And you, Mr. America's Great, make it great again, quote unquote, TM,
Who is also from New York.
have the nerve to just treat this like a fucking
Rally.
publicity move for like a movie or some shit. What are you doing?
I'm tired.
That requires the utmost respect, humbleness. You lack all of that.
Yeah, but I mean, you're thinking of the word humility, by the way.
Thank you.
English major.
Yeah.
Sidebar. Can like, I get that we should keep it somewhere in the back of our minds, but can we like let the classic patriotism of never forgetting 9/11 go?
Yeah.
Like, can we please? Because y'all are just fine with invading the wrong goddamn countries. We went to Iraq and Afghanistan, claiming we were chasing the people responsible for 9/11, when it has been proven on multiple different fronts in multiple different ways that the people who did the attack came from Saudi Arabia, which for all intents and purposes we have positive relations with, especially, the asshat in chief has positive relations with, but that's, beside the point. But we're all gung-ho to destabilize the hell out of that region, rack up more than 300,000 casualties. Or no. I might be mixing up my numbers. I know it was more than 100,000 casualties.
Yeah.
But regardless, get that many more deaths behind this and say never forget. But at the same time, want to tell us that slavery was forever ago. We shouldn't be feeling the same effects. Everything is equal now. No, first of all, sis, like my grandma was alive through the civil rights movement. It's not that far back in history.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if I am counting correctly, my great grandma's grandma was a former slave. It's not that far back. We don't need to trace back ages and ages and ages and ages to see how recently this was, especially given the overall scheme of history. And yet we're all still feeling the effects of it today.
And to go back to the invading the wrong countries thing, let's not act like we don't know why we did that, because we all know why we did that.
Black gold.
Yeah, but the U.S., as fucked up as it is, but welcome to the U.S., was looking for a right time to go in and just steal it. Like, they weren't going to be nice about it. And when 9/11 hit, and they saw a chance to go in and invade the countries that had oil in it,
I mean, you might have been a bit young, but Bush was so many kinds of excited to go get them.
oh, please. He was just like, yep, go, get it, kill him. 9/11.
Yeah, but
Family Guy. Going back to Family Guy.
Oh, God.
Because as dumb as that show is, when Lois was running for president or mayor or something, and she just kept saying 9/11 and people kept cheering,
that sounds a lot like what 45's rallies are.
yeah, like 9/11. Everybody just started cheering. That's literally what happened then, and it was happening.
And then it was 9.
11. Like it was literally. That was like one of my favorite like political commentary things in that show because it's accurate.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But moving on, speaking of 45 being a petulant toddler, when are humans supposed to develop object permanence? Somewhere between like 6 months and 18 months, give or take. Is there a time when you're supposed to lose it? Because I found some reports from one Steve Cohn. I believe his first name is Steve. I only wrote his last name down in my notes. But allegedly he kept 45 from, signing paperwork to get us to back out of NAFTA by removing the paperwork from his desk. By removing the paperwork from his desk.
Just
Sis. I'm not gonna, like I said, I don't want to, spend so much time on this because honestly, I'm tired and I am so tempted to go on just like a humanity hiatus for a weekend. Like no Facebook, no Tumblr, no Twitter, no anything.
Yeah.
Just so that way I can go a full at least 24 hours without seeing his, his moldy tangerine face.
yeah.
No, that's disrespecting tangerines. Is there like an orange fungus you can think of? No, fungi actually have a purpose. I got nothing. I mean, I could think of like some slime molds, but at least they decompose. But Cheetos are good. I mean, they're terrible for you, but they're tasty. Don't do this.
Sorry, y'all. Cheetos have been whack for me since I was a kid. I'm sorry. I've never liked Cheetos.
I wish you could see the look I'm giving.
I never have.
Because, I mean, we might have to pause this so we can go box.
But anyway, yeah. Just, what do we do? Why do we?
Honestly, there's a part of me that is not exactly secretly, but there's a part of me that is a little like watching everything start to fall apart and burn with a certain percentage of glee.
But at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, I live here, huh?
Yeah, there's the whole I live here, but at the same time, as a big black person in this country, I already get the shit into the stick.
Yeah.
So, I'm just like so. I mean, we were telling y'all about this, and now you're starting to experience it.
And they're just like, I can't believe that our president.
Your president is. Because I'm on the same team as Angela Rye with this. I don't claim him.
I don't either.
Who?
Yeah.
Speaking of nobody, someone said that he had the equivalent IQ of an inbred tanning bed, which I mean. He's probably using an inbred tanning bed. Because, my God. But he wanted to bolster the Federal Reserve by borrowing a lot of money, holding on to it for a period of time, and selling it.
Sell it.
What?
Oh, isn't that just basically...
It's
just...
Okay.
That's like taking out your loan and not paying it back.
Nani?
And then making more debt by selling your loan money.
Was?
It doesn't make any sense. Come on, dude.
Wait, crap! I obviously we're on a podcast. I can't sign what.
But didn't he also say print money too?
Yeah, print more money. Print more money to help the economy.
Oh.
No, that just devalues the dollar.
Yeah.
And if you're printing one, you don't even have to necessarily print more money. Most transactions are electronic these days anyway.
Right.
But like that's just a fundamental lack of understanding of how economics work.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you've got a failed businessman with 4 businesses that claimed bankruptcy, several different brands that fell out from under him, several different lawsuits about people not being paid by him, and a whole multitude of other financial issues, expecting him to have a solid grasp on how finances work is that dog won't hunt. That dog won't hunt, that snowball won't survive that night in hell, that candle won't survive that windstorm. Take your pick.
I'm ready for him to be gone now.
Especially since the deputy chief of staff, Katie Walsh, allegedly said that working with him was like trying to figure out what a child wants.
But I still feel like that's giving him too much credit.
Because
at the end of the day, children know what they want.
Yeah, my soon-to-be 5-year-old nephew, like I can, what do you want? What do you want for dinner? What do they have? Well, let's see. We've got A, B, C, and D. Ooh, I like C. Okay, we can get C.
Bam, done, decision made, and it was probably a good one.
Like we've got. He's smart enough that he doesn't do it all the time, but periodically my nephew at almost 5 will recognize that he's too emotionally all over the place and will put himself in timeout to go calm down. Which is a lot more than I can say what the president is capable of, because he's too busy, tweet storming at 4 in the morning.
Speaking of which, real quick, we didn't write this down, but this needs to be mentioned. The president, the U.S. government is planning a Amber Alert system that will allow President Fladugeldorf to text everyone's phones in case of emergency.
So when I massage my block button, I'm bright and early on that Thursday morning.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for the memes of people getting those messages and then responding back.
Oh God.
I'm waiting.
My body is ready.
I'm waiting.
My
listen,
body is ready.
I cleared out about 1.5 gigs worth of space on my phone for this, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for it.
Petty.
Don't disappoint.
Please don't.
But yeah, it's garbage. He's garbage. His administration is garbage. The people that voted for him are garbage.
And all those lace fronts smell like eggs.
I was gonna say that, but you're here stealing my lingo.
Beat you to it, Beach.
Anyway, anything else you want to say about?
Let's see. Oh,
flatbread.
Don't insult flatbread like that. I know we didn't write this down, but you know about the governor of Maine who clearly needs to jump off the edge of his state and swim?
Which one was that?
Here, I've got the article right here from the BBC.
Ooh.
So, should I do a British accent for it?
Tight.
The governor of Maine has said that people of color were enemies of his state and appear to suggest that they should be shot. Speaking about Maine's effort to combat drug crime, Paul LePage said that the enemy right now are people of color or people of Hispanic origin. When you go to war and the enemy dresses in red and you dress in blue, then you shoot at red. Yeah.
Oh, really, sis? Okay. But last I checked, y'all were wearing red and we were wearing blue.
What?
Y'all got that all the way fucked up. Second of all, what line of logic do you have that gets you to that? First of all, Hispanics were here first. Natives were here first, and Hispanic folks were here afterwards.
Yeah, they didn't. A lot of them didn't cross the border. The border crossed them.
Yeah,
because
so
the entire western half of the country was Mexico. But
so let's not pretend. Let's not forget about that. And then second of all, we're the enemy.
Oh Jesus,
here?
it gets worse.
Okay, go on.
Let's see. Mr. LePage was asked about a statement he made in January in which he blamed the state's heroin problem on guys by the name of D-Money, Smoothie, Shifty, who come from Connecticut and New York. They come up here, they sell their heroin, then they go back home. Incidentally, half the time they impregnate a young white girl before they leave.
Listen, this is not... Like, how...
Oh, it gets worse. Speaking on Wednesday, he denied that it was racist, but said that since January he has been putting together a binder cataloging drug arrests in the state, and that 90+% of those pictures in my book, and it's a 3-ring binder, are black and Hispanic people.
Lies, all of it.
Well, I mean, when you think about disproportionate policing.
Exactly. Please, my ass.
When asked by reporters to provide the binder, Mr. LePage replied, "Let me tell you something. Black people come up the highway and they kill Mainers. You ought to look into that." He then stormed off, telling the reporters, "You make me so sick."
Okay, girl. Okay, sure. You can be all nice and safe with that bullshit in Maine, but I guarantee you have never been anywhere else, because if you ever uttered those words outside of Maine, you would be drop kicked to the floor by multiple different ways. It's not just black and Hispanic.
Oh.
What?
Oh. Oh.
What?
So I'm continuing to read the article, and I feel like we should, pause recording so I can go get a big-ass pitcher of tea. The Portland Press Herald excuse me, the Portland Press Herald published FBI statistics which show that 1,211 people were arrested on charges of drug sales or manufacturing in Maine in 2014. Of those, 170, 14.1%, were black and almost all the rest were white.
That shit don't add up, do it?
Oh. Oh.
Wow, really?
Oh.
Wow. I would have never guessed.
I'm like,
Just,
can we?
I don't understand, y'all. Like that is some colonial era racism spewing from his mouth right now.
But I'm not racist. You don't need to hurl slurs around to be a racist.
Right. You don't. You sitting here talking about black people are the enemy, Hispanic people are the enemy,
and that we're 90% of the drug sales and stuff, and the FBI comes back like, sis.
Like, actually, sir, you're wrong, but good shot though.
But you tried. Alrighty. Do we want to talk about the truth about trans people and bathrooms, or is it obvious enough that we can just spend like 10 further seconds on it and move on to our break?
Yeah, it ain't nothing new. We said this before.
Long story short, Boston Globe reported about a first of its kind study released. No, get your ad away from me. Let's see. Study finds no link between transgender rights law and bathroom crimes. This was posted on September 12th. A first-of-its-kind study being released Wednesday refutes the premise that the state's transgender anti-discrimination law threatens public safety, finding no relation between public trans bathroom access and crimes that occur in bathrooms.
Well, it's almost like
trans people just want to pee.
It's almost like we were right since the beginning, huh?
But, xenophobia is a bitch, ain't it?
So, like, that was the only argument y'all had.
And
so now what?
So can you just? I mean, like we're getting to that point where, like the president has emboldened a lot of these bitches to be more and more forthcoming. Like, can we just cease and also desist the bullshit and just flat out say you hate
just
non-cishet wasps?
Just be honest.
Just say that you don't like people.
Just say you don't like trans people because they make you sexually conflicted. It is okay. We're gonna beat your ass.
No. The first step to fixing a problem is admitting that you have one.
And then the second step is getting your ass beat. Because listen.
Like these hands are ready to eat for everyone, but I'll sooner open my mouth first. Because, I don't know, maybe it's because I want to be a teacher. Speaking of teachers, because I forgot about this because I was hot about it. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it because he ain't shit and he's getting out anyway. While
you're finding that, I have a quick sidebar because I've experienced that in person. I used to work at a real cool spot in the Bay Area. Kinder's Barbecue, shouting y'all out because y'all are the shit. They had... I think it was Silence Along, California, and I think a lot of other places to have like gender neutral bathrooms. Mm-hmm. So I was there when they took down the men and women sign and just made it gender neutral bathrooms, or all gender bathrooms. And I was eating with a group of friends and their friends that I didn't know, and one of them said, "I don't understand why they have an all gender bathroom when there's only two genders." And literally everyone at the table looked at him and didn't say a word to him for the entire time. He got so uncomfortable he left. Like, I love them to death. And you know what's worse? You know what made it worse? He's gay. He's part of the LGBT community.
Oh, the gays are sometimes the worst, though.
Yeah, it's like you're part of the community and you want acceptance, but you don't accept other people. Okay. Get out and take your barbecue with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. All right, what was your...
So, Rauner needs to find a pit and fall into it and just stay there. Republican governor thinks $40,000 is too much to pay teachers and vetoes a minimum salary.
Listen.
Governor Bruce Rauner on Sunday vetoed legislation that would have raised the minimum salary for an Illinois teacher to $40,000 within 5 years, putting the re-election-seeking Republican at odds with teachers' unions once again. No, is it the mayor of Chicago I'm thinking of that's not coming back?
Mayor's not coming back.
Okay. Yeah, because right now minimum teacher salary is less than 35,000 a year,
Which is
which is
nothing.
ridiculous because teachers use their own funds to pay for stuff for their classrooms,
Right,
and
which should be paid for by insert authority here, state, government, whatever.
but like they're using their own money, they're driving for Lyft, they're donating, they're selling their plasma and stuff to make ends meet,
They're going to school for years,
to do one of the most selfless acts.
and they still have to do other things to make ends meet.
Wait.
After
One of the
that.
most selfless and one of the most vital acts, period.
Yeah.
Because cultivating the children of any culture, it helps shape the direction that that culture goes in.
Exactly.
And there's a fine line, between telling people what to think and how to think. And I know that, if and when I finally become a teacher, obviously not in Illinois, because a bitch needs to get actually paid.
Sure.
I don't want to ever teach my kids what to think, aside from what to think in order to correctly answer testing questions.
Right.
But like how to think critically, how to, analyze this, that, how to, write more effectively, because I still want to be an English teacher, but, everything like that.
Yeah. It's teachers get so much shit. And
Oh, please fall in a pit. I just skimmed the rest of this.
what happened now? What do you say?
Rauner wrote in his veto message, blah, 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 blah. However, minimum pay... wait, no, let me read the entire thing. Teachers are our greatest asset in ensuring the future of our youth, and they deserve to be well compensated for their hard work. Hold, please. Rauner wrote in his veto message. However, minimum pay legislation is neither the most efficient nor the most effective way to compensate our teachers.
But then what is?
Like, that is literally how you compensate your teachers. Compensation.
Then how do you do it?
Compensation is literally their payment.
Is that him basically saying they should just be happy that they're teaching kids and giving them a brighter future instead of being paid actual money? Is that is that like the line he's going?
Now
on?
hold on. I'm gonna. Oh no, I don't even have the energy to try to play devil's advocate. On the other hand, if some legislation came forward that allotted teachers, like 2,000-3,000 a school year, instead of them having to use their own funds for stuff for the classroom, that would be a different story. That would be a good idea. That would be infinitely less asinine. It would almost justify what he said.
Okay.
But at the same time, teachers are still performing an extremely difficult, extremely taxing, extremely tiring, extremely, vital.
They do more than they're paid for.
Exactly.
By miles and miles.
Like, I have a little experience just teaching swim lessons, and just teaching swim lessons for half an hour at a time is a lot to handle. So I can only imagine what like an actual teacher at an actual school has to deal with.
Just firsthand experience from that, because I was always the goody two shoes kid, always was. Maybe not so much with grades. I'll go into that in another episode. But I was never disrespectful. I was never like outwardly rude, and just I always say this, and I know there's a game, Silent Hill, for anybody who's a fan out there who said this, and it's just like, everybody says that adulthood makes people crazy, but if you really want to mess someone up, just send them back to high school, because it's a very true statement. High school is one of the most brutal places, just period, with what all goes on there and what everybody's dealing with, and teachers are in the middle of all of it, and then that's just regular high school problems with fucked up kids, fucked up this, school, teen pregnancies, and just everything under the sun. And let's not get into, since we're tying things back to the other episodes, to the teachers that have to deal with school shootings every fucking week. Like, that's all, and they get nothing else for that.
Exactly. But Rauner can eat a whole bag of dicks. Just like get a bowl, get a fork, and dig the fucking
choke on it.
Exactly. But that's all I've got, unless you've got anything else.
No, that's it. That's it for this one.
All right. Shall we move on then? Or rather, shall we take a break?
Break time.
All right, fantastic. So, do we get a submission from Mr. Fahrenheit, or is it going to be...
We actually got a submission from another group. Their name is Synergy. They've been out of the game for a minute, but they decided to send some stuff to me, and so we're gonna play some of their stuff now. Hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, and we'll be back.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and new experience. Stereophonic sound.
And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that music. Mm-hmm. All right, so now we're going to move on to our second segment of the day, just chit-chatting about mental health.
Yeah.
So as always, we're just two goofballs with a couple of mics, some editing software, and periodic extra time on our hands. So please take anything we say about mental health stuff with, a whole-ass warehouse of salt.
Yeah, we're not licensed therapists and psychologists here.
No. So, first and foremost, quick RIP to Mac Miller.
Yeah.
Who I didn't like him. Like, I liked a lot of his music. I didn't know that I liked a lot of his music until I actually sat down and listened to a bunch of it, like, right before he died.
Yeah. I liked Mac Miller for a while. I wasn't like a gigantic fan. People know I'm only a fan of like a couple of different people, but I listen to a lot of music.
You stand for Min May.
Min May, Sade, Daft Punk, Justice, Jill Scott, just few people. K-Dot. And
living my life like it's golden. Anyway.
But yeah, I listened to Mac Miller a lot, and I always liked him and his style usually.
And the fact that he made it a point to shout out his black ass influences.
Exactly. That's how y'all do it, y'all. Y'all don't, white folks that like to pretend. We're looking at you, Lana Del Rey's twin sister, Sam Smith.
Okay.
Y'all don't take influences from us and then act like you never were or shit on us. You don't do that.
Yeah.
When Mac Miller did and other people, other artists of the Caucasus race do. That's how you do it.
Without us, you would have nothing.
Mm-hmm. But rest in peace to him.
However, y'all, let me make sure my voice is clear for this, because y'all got me fucked up.
31 Flavors of fucked up.
50 Shades of fucked up.
Because y'all need to leave Ariana alone.
She has had the worst past year.
She has. Like, it's been, this girl's been going to therapy ever since the Manchester shooting.
Which, shout out to, therapy in general, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Like, she's been going to therapy. She's got huge anxiety problems since the shooting at her concert.
Which she paid for the funeral of every single victim.
Like, that girl does not want to see anyone fail. She may have had a rough start when she was coming up in the music industry, as a lot of people do, but she is one of the few that's come back from it. And it's like, here's what we're not going to do anymore. And that's what she did, and she did that, and she ate it up. Mm-hmm. But y'all need to stop blaming her for Mac Miller's death.
Blaming her for his shortcomings in general, because they tried to get up inside her ponytail about his DOI car crash a couple years back. No, like a year or two back. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, last I checked, she didn't pull a Steven Universe and possess him.
Right.
So
what is she like? Why are y'all blaming her? Like
y'all are so eager to blame other people for things men do.
Right.
Like, men are not faultless.
Especially because she left because he wasn't doing hot and his habits were a little toxic. She wrote multiple songs about this already. So if y'all don't need details, go listen to the music. And he's admitted it.
Exactly. And the thing is, she did what was best for her.
Right. And y'all shitting on her for it. Like, oh, you should have stayed. You should have helped him with his mental illness.
No, the fuck she shouldn't have. I'm sure. I'm more than positive that she offered. Hey, I know you're not doing too hot right now. You know, we can try this, that, or the other. And he kept doing his own thing, and she, was like, okay, I did what I could. I'm gonna, go for for my betterment.
And he was okay with that. They both were okay with that.
And they were still, as far as I know, they were still good
friends
with each other.
Yeah.
But to blame her, like, girl, she had that shooting to deal with. She took a hiatus from music because of that shooting. And then turn around, come back in the public spotlight and get fucking groped by this bitch-ass pastor that I still want to fucking uppercut.
Who she doesn't want to blame. Like, I just read a little article on that, apparently.
She doesn't want to...
She's trying to distance herself from that real hard and was like, maybe it was just... Again, I feel like she's really afraid to speak out on this, and she's rightfully so, because she's going. Ariana is a younger woman coming up against a well-known pastor in a black church setting. She knows she'd probably just get read to death, and she can't handle that right now.
Exactly. So she's trying to just distance herself from it and, take care of herself.
But she went through that. She went through shooting in Manchester. She went through
Mac getting in that car crash, and now him dying of an apparent overdose.
Over the problems she left him for. You don't think she already feels kind of guilty about that?
Like, you hoes...
And then y'all are all coming at her talking about, oh, you should have stayed, and he would have been okay, he would have helped her. Y'all don't know how relationships work.
Exactly. And her staying or not staying, who's to say that would have helped it? For all we know, that could have exacerbated it, and he would have been gone sooner.
And we all know, he already had those habits before her. Those weren't going to go away just because, a girl came into his life.
Hell, he even mentioned some of those in 2009.
Right, like before she was even in the picture.
The song 2009, not the year.
Yeah.
But I think he was talking about some of the things he did, which a lot of the things, he was talking a lot about using drugs as a coping mechanism. Mm-hmm. Which is exactly what I wanted to talk about mental health-wise. Yay, segues.
Yeah.
So, you want me to talk about some of mine first? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
So... For those who don't know me, all of you that do know me already know that I'm a sizable gamer, and one of my favorite coping mechanisms, like if I've had a bad day at work or, things of that nature, I'll usually pop in my favorite fighting game, most recent one of which is Dragon Ball FighterZ, but I'll pop that in, turn up the difficulty, and just wail on the computer until I feel better. And that's on some of the better days. Some days I'll end up calling out of work for a mental health day because I just, don't have the energy to be surrounded by nothing but cishet white men all day, save for, 4 people there.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by nothing but cishet white men. And it's, y'all don't realize how exhausting that is. Because code switching is tiring, watching what you say is tiring.
It drains you.
It's tiring. That's part of why I loved WakandaCon so much, because I didn't feel any kind of pressure to do anything like that. But I'm getting off track. Me personally, I have not always had the best coping mechanism stuff. Hell, when you bitches elected the moldy tangerine to the presidency the next day, I ended up, crushing an entire bottle of pre-made margarita, which doesn't sound like much, but I don't drink all that often.
Mm-hmm.
But I did that and just played Skyrim all day and Fusro dod hoes off mountains. But I don't know, that's not a healthy coping mechanism, and my therapist has yelled at me about that already, so don't at me.
Mm-hmm.
My block button will get another massage. But yeah, I already mentioned that I am a fan of, Candy Bliss.
Candy Bliss.
That sounds like a drag name. Now coming to the stage, Candy Bliss. I'm trademarking that if any of you hosts take it.
That's mine now, so sorry.
Yeah, all of her whole gimmick is everything is some shade of green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of cannabis. I'm a big fan of legalizing it both for recreational and medicinal use. I personally I obviously, enjoy a little bit here and there just for recreational purposes, but I also, have a lot of sleep issues. So more often than not, I'll have a little just so that way I can, fall asleep and stay asleep pretty readily.
Right.
And that, like taking better care of myself in that aspect has, been an unintentional coping mechanism because shit still sucks,
Yeah.
but it sucks slightly less when I have enough sleep.
Yeah. It's you can handle it.
It's, I guess, self-care, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't touched any of the harder stuff. I don't want to do anything that will like make my teeth fall out, or have me like Ezel. You don't know who I'm talking about, do you?
No.
Yes, you do. You're smiling over there because you know somewhere in the back of your mind.
So anyway,
My neck, my back, my neck, and my back. Oh, I want $150,000, but I'll settle right now at a court for $20. Him, because can't nobody catch a crackhead.
Jesus. Anyway,
But
go on.
But yeah, I don't really touch anything that takes like a shit ton of processing to get through. That said, like the Epicurean in me does want to sample a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But I want to wait until I've done a lot more therapy, until my mental health is more what's the word? I don't want to say fixed per se. Under control, more stable, what have you. I want to be closer to okay. Before I, try hallucinogens or anything else. But that's just me. Vesta?
See, this is gonna be kind of a hard thing to talk about, honestly, because
Other than this bitch ass fruit fly flying around.
yeah, listen, fucking flies, y'all. Living in the basement has its perks, but fruit flies are not one of them. But
Fruit flies are just a bitch anyway.
I didn't really have a good grasp on my mental health, especially growing up. Didn't really have a good grasp on what it was and how to really acknowledge it until I was about 15 or 16, really.
Yeah, shout out to toxic black parenting, avoiding mental health.
Yeah, mental health is for white people. Insert all the trademark sayings here. I only have really one or two coping mechanisms. They're both arts related. If I'm having a shitty day, I know I can always rely on my computer to just sit down, come up with an idea or a mood, and throw it into Ableton or into something and make something out of it. Last weekend, when we were both having a really shitty weekend, I literally took a day away from everything and everybody. I mean, I just couldn't handle it. And I sat down right here, and I just turned out a song. I think I showed it to you already. And it helped a lot. Granted, it was one of my more significant mental drops, but more often than not, that usually does help my mood. Another is writing poetry. Yeah, writing poetry or a little short story or something. Have a lot of poetry hidden somewhere that I don't know if I'll ever put out yet, because it's darker material.
It's personal.
It's very personal, but I do always keep it with me to like go back and remind myself of like
Where you
the
were.
lowest.
Yeah. And the other thing about, using substances as coping mechanisms is moderation is the entire pantheon of the gods of substance use for that. You've got to be able to moderate yourself.
Or have someone help you do it.
Exactly. Because I'm not going to put somebody's business out there. I'm not going to put all of their business out there, but suffice to say that I've known a couple people, and yes, I mean multiple people, who got into a low point and drank as well, but like whereas I got like a pre-mixed margarita mix, which isn't all that strong. I wouldn't be able to drive, but I'm not going to wake up hating everything.
Right.
Whereas both of these people, no, the two that I'm thinking of, but I know the two that popped to the forefront of my mind, but I know that there's a couple more. But, went for the much harder stuff and regretted it a lot. And on one hand, yeah, it's not, the healthiest option for long term, but some days just fucking suck and you need a drink.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I am not the heaviest drinker, really. I do drink sometimes, but
See also the first episode.
yeah, that was like the first time I drank, and that's almost no, that's not the most that I've drank on once. I did have one point a very long time ago. We didn't know each other yet. I don't remember what happened or when. Actually, yes, I do. It was that really bad hospital scare from a couple years ago.
Oh.
I was in the hospital for a very long period of time. That's all I'm going to say about it. But I was scared, and
Understandably
it didn't
so.
really hit about the the danger of
The potential
situ-
lethality.
Yeah, that that didn't hit until I was gone out of the hospital already, and I drank a half a bottle of fucking tequila, and
Sorry, I just came up out of my body for a second. Because I've had exactly one shot of tequila in my entire life and had to sit down right after taking it.
I didn't drink it all at once, obviously,
Still.
but I did drink it.
You didn't drink
numerous.
you didn't drink it like old boy in that video.
Oh God.
For those who don't know, I'm referencing a video of this moderately attractive white guy with a beard and tattoos, who puts a straw inside a handle of Jack Daniels, holds the straw with his thumb so that way it has like a vent, and just upends it, and just drinks the entire thing. And I'm like,
Oof.
girl, you need to go to a hospital before that kicks in,
Yeah, please.
because you're
But-
gonna be. I don't have a joke for how fucked up you're gonna be.
Yeah.
And normally I just come with the jokes with the quickness. I don't have one. Like, I would be legitimately I'd be impressed for about 5 seconds, because honestly I can't do dark liquor. But after those 5 seconds of being impressed have passed, and be like, okay, so we're going to the hospital right the hell now. Here's a whole garbage bag, because I'm pretty sure that that's going to come back up.
But yeah, that was like one of the lowest points, and I had to get someone called me and they heard it in my voice that I was like
Sideways.
not even there really, so they came and had to just kind of keep watch on me and talk to me for a while.
Yeah, I've become the drunk babysitter, because I never drink a metric shit ton. Like, even at my lowest, I just don't, because I don't know. I never really. I feel like it's part of it is because alcohol is expensive.
Yeah.
So there's like that part of me of like, I like this, but I'm not going to drink a lot because I don't have $70.
Yeah, but that's what you don't do, you guys. Don't ever look at the bottle and let it sing to you when you're in a low point, okay? Because that'll fuck you up.
Honestly, as cliche as it sounds, get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't have the spoons necessarily to go for a walk,
Go
open your-
somewhere.
No. You don't even have to go somewhere.
Or
But
just
like,
sit outside,
like if
really.
you've got the energy for it, make your bed and open up the blinds. You'd be surprised how much a slightly cleaner living space and more sunlight improves one's mood.
That really does, like, even though the work, you dreading the work is, but it does help a lot when you do that.
Yeah. Like, you don't necessarily have to do all the things that Teen Vogue and all those other girls say that you need to do to feel better.
no.
Go for a run. Eat a salad.
Bitch, no.
No. Like,
We ain't got the time or energy or the spoons to
if
make
you're
us have
if you're that low on if you're that low on spoons and spell slots, stretch for a second. That'll help a little. That'll get some blood flowing. If you can't, chug a whole ass gallon of water and shove a cucumber up your ass because Teen Vogue said so, try to eat something green.
Yeah.
Try to get at least, a cup or two of water in you. Get some sunlight. Just it's do what you can. Do what you feel you're most able to do. Ask and like, I feel like saying ask for some help puts the onus on the person who's not feeling well, but at the same time, if you can, when you're at a higher point, ask some of your more trusted friends to check on you from time to time and make sure you're doing a little, you're doing okay. And if you're not, if they can do something, like if they can come by and help you clean up your place some, or bring dinner and like an awful C-list movie for y'all to cackle at, or hell, bring a whole ass bowl of some really loud weed. Because that is why I like marijuana, because you can't really overdose on it. You'll sooner die from smoke inhalation than THC overdose.
Right.
But the worst that's gonna happen is that you're gonna get really hungry.
Yeah. Just eat your entire body weight in 2 minutes.
Eat your whole ass body weight in like fucking Cheez-Its and ranch dip.
But yeah, you only need 1 or 2 friends for that, and like 1 or 2 trusted friends for that real reason. Honestly,
Exactly.
you don't need an entire friend circle.
Right. Just a couple people that you trust that much. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you don't have to start that when you're at your lowest. But, write it down on a Post-it note and stick it on your computer so that way when you're ready, or, if you're one of those Windows 10 or most updated Mac girls, just put it on one of your Post-it note app that's built into the thing. Don't roll your eyes
Are
at
you
me.
shading me right now?
No.
I was like, because I fucking do that.
No shade. No shade. No shade. I'm being completely serious.
Yeah.
Like, in some way, shape, or form, if you think about it when you're in a low mood, write it down so that way when you actually have the spell slots for it. I don't know. I'm a huge nerd and I like that idea more. Spell slots instead of spoons.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll touch on. We'll touch on that in our next section. Do what you can. Try to take care of yourself.
You don't have to follow anybody else's rules of how to feel better, because not everybody's situation is the same.
Right.
Similar, never the same. Sisters, not twins.
Exactly. But yeah, you'd be surprised. You've heard of the phrase "death by 1,000 cuts." Why not life by 1,000 heals?
Right.
And that sounds cliche, and I'm sure I could have come up with something a bit more deft. But obviously, like I said, you don't need to do the whole teen vote. Go for a run, but little things. Listen, open up the blinds, open the window, and hear, some squirrels fighting over something, and giggle as they scream full speed across a parking lot, which I've done on some of my more depressive days, and giggled because they normally kind of do that like cutesy little hop, hop, hop. They can actually like run.
Yeah, they will sprint. Like
And
zoom.
it's kind of funny because you don't think of squirrels making noises, but they actually do make sounds. But
I got to hold one before.
and I'm sure it was tiny and adorable.
It was. I don't remember where it was. I think it was. It's gonna sound real Lifetime movie special like, but I was at my grandfather's house, and he lives in a really woodsy kind of area. So he used to feed the hummingbirds, the rabbits, and the squirrels, and he used to have a bunch of squirrels that came by. He was like, "Yeah, if you just sit on the bench in the front
You
yard."
sure your granddad wasn't a Disney princess?
No, my grandfather's from Southside Chicago. He's too hood to be a Disney princess.
Why can't you have a hood as Disney princess? Like follow la la la, I'ma fight your bitch.
Bitch, you know what? I was trying to tell a story. Anyway, he said, "Yeah, if you just sit on the front bench and just have some food next to you, don't touch it. Don't fuck with it. Just let it sit there, and they'll come up and just chill with you for a while." And they did, 2 or 3 of them. That was always fun. One other thing that really helps me cope whenever I'm up here, it's not a luxury everybody gets, not a lot of people get to enjoy, but there are bunnies in my neighborhood, you guys. Listen,
No, I'm giggling because my younger brother used to love chasing them.
listen, bunnies are like just bundles of happiness. When they're not humping each other to death, they're like bundles of happiness and joy, honestly. Just to sit and watch. They're the cutest fucking thing.
Something else that at least helps me a lot. When I was guarding, when I was a lifeguard more regularly, honestly, watching the kids be innocent and have as much fun as they are,
Yeah.
because kids tend to have like no ulterior motives with their behavior. If they're hungry, they're just hungry. They don't want to like try to trick you into doing anything. Like their intentions, as far as my experiences have been, more often than not, are pure. And that purity always brightens my day. Like even the ones that are upset about leaving the pool, I'm like, well, they were having fun. Like, how the fuck dare you? Or the kids going, mommy, 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 look, 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 look what I can do. Because they're so proud of themselves being able to do something. I don't know, but that always brightens my mood some.
Yeah.
But little things. You know what? Actually, because I didn't mention this before, feel free, if you want to send us some of your coping mechanisms, send them to us with askthebkcast@gmail.com.
We'll remind you of that email later. We have too much fun saying it, so we're going to say it again.
But, shoot us some of your coping mechanisms. Shoot us some of your stories about if, you had some and it didn't work out as well as you planned. Or something backfiring on you. Let's
Whatever you want to talk about.
Let's get a dialogue going. But on that note, I believe that's all I've got for our mental health segment.
Yeah, I think we're good.
So in that case, shall we take another break and let some musical stylings hold?
Yes,
our
we're doing
listeners
Mr.
on?
Fahrenheit again this time, you guys.
Oh.
So get turned. We'll be back.
Oh Jesus! All right. See you in a bit. we're back. Hope you enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. So, I have some delicious, delicious tea.
Go ahead.
So, there are rumors floating around about the potential or the potentiality of Michael B. Jordan.
Ooh.
Okay, so I need to find you a bottle of water already. Anyway, there are rumors floating around of Michael B. Jordan playing Superman next because Henry Cavill, I guess, has abdicated the throne.
Whoever that is.
Which, don't do that. Because I'm sure he's a great villain in Mission Impossible 17. So, I honestly don't care whether or not he's good at being Superman. What I do care about is the fact that I'm going to need to order a whole-ass Olympic-sized pool for the amount of white tears that will runneth over if it actually happens.
Again.
Because this will be the second role now that he's grabbed that was originally written for a white person.
Human Torch is the first one, yeah?
Exactly, because Johnny Storm and Sue Storm were originally siblings. And I guess in the most recent iteration, which flopped, unfortunately, they were supposed to be siblings, and he, I guess, was adopted or something. I don't know. I didn't watch the movie. Don't at me. I don't care enough.
No, I don't think anybody really watched Fan Four Stick because it wasn't very... Y'all, that movie had the potential to be something.
And it wasn't.
And whoever, I forget who directed it, but you're fired. Whoever did the cinematography, you're fired. Because y'all just made it like The Dark Knight with Fantastic Four. And spoilers for anybody who cares... Apparently, in that movie, they don't even become the Fantastic Four until the very end of the movie. Like, that whole movie is like a really bad setup. You don't see them in action with their powers. You see them like off, like on a screen for a second with other people talking about them. But you never see them in action until like the very
so
very
that's why it flopped. Though, sidebar, apparently the Human Torch as a role is a good jumping off point for people. For the Marvel Universe, because we went from... Chris Evans?
Chris Evans.
There's like 5 different Chris's in the Marvel universe.
Chris
Evans. So Chris Evans went from being the snarky Johnny Storm to
Captain America.
And to Captain America to Daddy Captain America in Infinity War. Don't you give me that look, bitch. That beard looks amazing on him.
That's debatable.
Hey,
Captain America.
That beard looks amazing on him. Fight me.
Yeah, okay. And then Michael B. Jordan was Human Torch, and now he was Eric motherfucking Killmonger. One of the best villains in the Marvel Universe so far.
Agreed.
And hopefully he comes back because Infinity War spoilers, everybody knows, and everybody should probably have the hypothesis to what's going to happen. But he's probably coming back. Anyway.
But the reason I bring that up, other than wanting my mug to runneth over, is I can't wait. Like, I will exfoliate. I'm gonna like water my plants. But the reason I bring that up is why whitewashing is a thing, but blackwashing or POC washing is not.
Yeah.
And people complaining about, but what about blah 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 blah? What taking roles away from actors? Sis, y'all have the whole smorgasbord of roles that usually you don't even deserve that you get anyway. Meanwhile, we've got dozens upon dozens of capable black and brown actors and actresses.
Are we not gonna act like the entirety of like Hollywood for up until like the 50s or 60s was white? And if they were black, they were servants?
or if they were black, it was because it was a white guy in blackface, like Othello. Exactly.
Or like the jazz singer.
But, like, whitewashing very much is a thing. And I've got, like, an entire list.
Let's go off. Because I think I have a mental list of some.
Okay, so if I don't mention them, feel free to chime in. So, we've got my favorite one, Scarlett Johansson, playing the protagonist in the Ghost in the Shell movie, which aside from her, freshly Caucasian ass playing an obviously Japanese character, the movie, like from what I saw of the commercials, the movie visually looked amazing.
And I've seen some very, very slightly viable arguments as to why her race shouldn't have mattered.
Because she's an android or whatever.
Right, because she takes the shape of different people. I could see that. But at the same time,
her character's name is Makoto Kusanagi.
It's a Japanese story, y'all. Yeah. That's where it is, and that's who it should. That's miscasted.
But anyway, Emma Stone playing a half, I believe, Filipino and Pacific Islander woman named Allison Ng in Aloha.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Emma, what you doing?
Angelina Jolie in A Mighty Heart, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember the name of the character she played, but the character she played, I believe, was like Afro-Spanish and something else.
Please. Maleficent.
She also, apparently, the character that she played in Wanted was also originally written to be black. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We've got the entirety of both Exodus Gods and Kings and Gods of Egypt.
Oh my god, that infuriated me.
Y'all, how are you casting all these white people as gods of an African-ass country?
In Africa. Come on, y'all.
In Africa, by the equator.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, it's the same reason why y'all shouldn't be mad that Superman is potentially going to be a black person, because Superman's entire Kryptonian ass is powered by the fucking sun.
Mm-hmm. Scientifically speaking, he...
But anyway.
But...
we've got Jake Gyllenhaal playing Dastan in the Prince of Persia movie.
Garbage movie.
Which, to his credit, he built himself up physically to play the part, and
he did.
He did work out and stuff to try to really fill out the role.
But that's about all he did.
Exactly. The movie 21, because the majority of the squad from MIT were of Asian descent, especially the protagonist that I just lost his name. The guy that played Jude in Across the Universe. Jim Sturgis.
Thank you.
Yeah, he the guy that Jim Sturgis played was, very, very Asian. We've also got Liam Neeson in the Dark Knight series playing Ra's al Ghul, who is...
I love you, Liam. Mr. Neeson, listen, I bow to you. You are one of the greatest actors of all time. But...
I can assure you I don't have any money, but what I have are a certain set of skills.
Listen.
Including playing an Arabic man.
That Ra's al Ghul, that was not it. At all. I'm sorry.
Someone named Ra's al Ghul.
Don't at me. Don't say it's Ra's al Ghul, because that's wrong. It's Ra's al Ghul. Thank you. But.
Yeah. And speaking of white people playing, brown or Asian people, we've got the androgynous ruler themselves.
Equally as iconic.
Tilda Swinton.
Just don't come for her ever.
Except for this role, because she played the Ancient One in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And she brought her whole Scandinavian ass on celluloid to play that part.
Now, granted, she ate that part up. But that part wasn't really meant for...
But in all the comics, the Ancient One, is almost stereotypically Asian, like Fu Manchu and the whole outfit. Which,
One could
that's
argue that's them trying to get away from that, though.
Which, I guess, but at the same time, you can get away from it and still elevate an actual Asian actor.
It's fair.
Or actress.
Yeah, that's fair. But, again...
Got any more examples?
But, again, Tilda Swinton is that bitch. Same pedestal as Liam Neeson. Thank you. But y'all were hot when Zendaya was announced to be in fucking Spider-Man Homecoming. Y'all were hot. Y'all were like, Mary Jane supposed to be white.
Yeah,
please.
And unless it's explicitly written into the character, like Peter Parker is unambiguously written to be a white guy, like explicitly described in his character description. Which, okay, y'all can have him. That's fine.
Mary Jane,
Jane.
Y'all need to think about the times these comments were written in.
And Mary Jane is just a cute redhead. Never said that her hair had to be naturally red, and even so, black people have red hair. Red Fox. My father.
Okay, y'all were hot when she fucking played. When y'all thought she was gonna play MJ. No spoilers.
We're hot about her being scouted to potentially play Ariel.
Oh, y'all are livid. Y'all are so hot. Y'all are like, it's a Danish story. She's a mermaid, y'all.
Yeah, it was written by a Danish person, but she's still...
if we want to be real historically accurate here, that was written by fucking Hans Christian Andersen, who wrote that as a metaphor for him wanting a man that he couldn't have and killing himself over it. Let's not get into that. Because realistically speaking, Ariel should be a gay man But let's not go into that, okay?
But people want to be mad about Heimdall from the Thor movies,
That's another
played
one.
by Idris Elba and his gorgeous self. Like, I don't care what your orientation is. Idris Elba is extremely attractive.
And he's got that accent. Oh, Jesus. Him as potentially being James Bond for a while. That whole rumor going around.
Which I wish were true, but
People
unfortunately...
were people were going off.
He can't
James Bond should be white.
Or like the writer of it saying that he was too street to play Bond.
Please.
Have you met Idris
Have,
Elba? Do you know how suave and
That man could literally make.
like, I'm pretty sure he could just like read off some Shakespeare and there would be puddles of panties on the floor.
Just on the stage, you would just hear water, Niagara Falls in the audience. Just.
Yeah. So he's definitely suave enough to play
I'm
Bond.
trying to think of another role. I know there's an important one that we're missing right now.
I know Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games books was described to be straight black hair, olive skin, and gray eyes. None of these things that what's her nose has.
That's the big one, Hermione. Do you remember? Oh, that's the big one.
Oh, right, because a black woman was cast as Hermione in Harry Potter. In there.
And then y'all were hot, and you were like, they wrote her to be white, yada yada, and then J.K. Rowling was like, actually,
what she said,
I'm all for it. Thank you.
Yeah. J.K. Rowling showed up, unfurled her dick, and was like, "So listen."
Not the dick.
Walked up, unfurled, and said, "So listen, I described her as having bushy hair and being very clever."
Oh, not the dick. Just.
That was all that she was described as.
Yeah, and y'all were hot. Y'all didn't know what to do.
She could have been Anna. Oh, fuck, what's her name? Princess Diaries.
Kendrick?
No,
Anne Hathaway?
thank you. She could be Anne Hathaway, bushy hair from Princess Diaries, or an afro, which at sometimes feels like an actual bush.
Yeah, y'all.
So if those are her only two requirements,
She can be played by whoever the fuck.
Exactly.
Y'all were livid. But anyway.
But also, Tessa Thompson playing Valkyrie, and that was an issue, even though she showed up, unfurled her whole ass body, and was like, okay, so I'm going to be badass, and y'all are going to be mad about it.
Hello.
And Zazie Beetz being gorgeous on Deadpool 2 and playing Domino, which I will give y'all a microscopic iota of Domino supposed to be literally white, not racially white, but like a sheet of paper white.
Right.
Like canonically in the book, she's literally the color white with like a black spot over her eye. But it was a different character design, and I liked it. And she was funny, and she killed the role.
And y'all were mad
because she showed up. She showed up and was sickening in her big afro.
Can I bring up one role that I really wish was not played by anyone other than Michelle Pfeiffer or
Catwoman?
Halle Berry. Honey, sis. I'm not going to come for you because you acknowledged that movie was garbage and you accepted. I've never heard of an actress accepting a Razzie for a movie she was in and acknowledging that the movie was bad. So you that bitch for that. But that was like the worst miscasting ever.
I mean, what has she done lately? Never mind. Let's not drag Miss Halle.
Love you, Halle. Keep your hair natural, girl. We need it.
But people are getting all upset about people of color catching roles. Here's the thing. One, y'all are getting mad about it. We've been saying that we've been getting shut out of roles for white people for decades, and we should get over it. And we should get over it. But all of a sudden, when it happens to you, all of a sudden it's an issue.
My caucasity.
Okay. But
please.
The second thing is, and I saw this a couple years ago, so the metaphor or the description might not be completely, clear. But there were a couple pictures on a Tumblr post that I saw of a bowl filled with Raisinets or Milk Duds or something. And the bowl full was labeled white parts. There was another bowl next to it empty, labeled POC parts or parts cast for POC or what have you. And what ended up happening is like the person who made the post pulled a couple of the Milk Duds out and dropped them into the other bowl And if you look, it doesn't really look like the full one really changed that much. But the empty one, on the other hand, looked drastically changed by the adding of a couple of milk duds to it. Y'all aren't really missing out on losing like 3 or 4 roles here and there, because frankly, there are dozens of other roles. Like, can we have some kind of representation?
Honestly.
Can my future kids have some kind of superheroes to look up to? Can all this be a thing? But
We've got Black Panther. Best believe.
we've got Black Panther, we've got Blade.
Black Panther, Blade, yeah.
That's all I can think of off the top. Oh, Black Panther, Blade, Storm. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure that obviously there are dozens of others. Icon, Dreadlock,
Spawn.
Like we actually have to sit down and think of POC superheroes, whereas
Superman,
Batman,
Flash,
Robin, Flash. Well, Robin, and also Robin. Because we've
Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Bane, Catwoman.
No. Bane was Latino.
Thank you. Catwoman. Oh, some of them he wasn't. But let's not go into that because I can read.
Your ally, Mr. Wayne.
See, listen. We're excusing Tom Hardy's
Portrayal of Bane.
because he could. Ooh.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
I don't know why y'all were mad that he broke Batman's back, because I would let him break mine. So.
You did not have to do that.
But yes, y'all stay mad about it, because this is y'all experiencing a couple of months worth of
What we deal with on a regular basis.
yeah. So stay mad.
What will break first, Mr. Wayne? Your mind or your body?
You know what?
Yeah, but it's the double standard is aggravating to say the least. But I don't know. It's like, to quote your line, get over it. Get over it. Get over it. Get over it. Stop being Dudley Dursley and get over it. Please tell me you've seen that meme.
Yeah.
The what is it? The only 36 white male protagonists, but last year I had 37. But you still got more than 30. Bitch, we barely have more than 3.
Exactly. Now, what else we talking about?
Oh boy. Like, we're gonna even pass on the soundbite for this one.
Oh, are we? No, we're not.
No, we're not?
No, we're not.
Are you about to do the raggedy thing again?
I sure am.
Why are you like this?
I sure am. On today's segment of And Another Thing. That's not loud enough. I need to do it again.
Oh, jeez.
I said on today's episode of Another Thing. Cool.
Are you done?
Are you done?
Are you done? Okay. So, goofy sound effect aside, the tragic story of Botham Jean, who only answered his door because somebody was pounding at it.
Yep.
And paid for it with his life. That in and of itself is already infuriating.
And it's already a repeated narrative almost weekly, and it's getting tiring.
What do you mean?
Another black man getting shot by the fucking police for no reason.
See, let me preface what I'm about to say with this. Do not mistake me for defending, even remotely defending, any police actions. This is slightly different. This is, like, all the other altercations were some kind of suspicion of something. Okay? That's the only difference. This one, and there's still, like, details coming out, and I'm waiting for her, she's going to be on paid vacation for a while, like they always do.
That's per usual.
But more and more details are coming out about this. For those who don't know, Botham, I'm not even going to name the cop because, frankly, she can choke, and I would probably tap dance on her grave.
Yeah.
But Botham Jean was I believe, 25, 26-year-old black man just minding his own business in his apartment building. At one point during the night, some coked-out ass cop decided to try to get into his apartment, banged on it a bunch of times. Oh, casual reminder, she was off duty at the time. And he opened the door, and she used her service pistol and lit him the hell up and killed him. And somebody who needs to be launched into the goddamn sun thought, maybe we should search the dead guy's apartment for something.
We're not stupid.
Nigga, what?
We're not stupid.
What?
Y'all knew exactly what was going to happen because y'all fucked up and y'all decided, oh, let's just fucking pretend we're searching for weed.
And smear and further smear a dead man. He's dead. He's gone. What
Y'all wanted a search warrant for a man y'all just killed.
Oh, and you want to know what the real tea is? There has not been a search warrant on her apartment or any of her stuff.
Nope.
And this is in an apartment complex where apparently, like, one, the apartment numbers are lit the fuck up. This is a bougie ass apartment complex. And two, apparently the keys that you use would the light would turn green if you were in the right keyhole.
Jesus.
So for her to allegedly be like, oh, I went to the wrong apartment.
Whatever, bitch.
Okay, sis.
Whatever.
Like, we're still waiting on details, and I'm sure this is going to come up a couple times in the next few episodes. But the fact of the matter is no matter how loudly your wig smells like eggs, there is no way you're going to mix up somebody else's apartment for yours on that level.
Like,
unless you were like on something,
which ain't new either.
Which, yeah, because all these cops, you know, taking just a little bit off of all what they confiscate from people.
Shout out to Cloak and Dagger for putting that on TV. Just blew that out, and y'all are mad about that too. Anyway,
as per usual. But you got to be high as fuck on something that you probably shouldn't be high as fuck on to not only try to get into the wrong apartment
and then kill him.
Oh no, we're not even there yet.
Okay.
Not only to navigate to the wrong apartment, which I mean happens. I've done it before a couple times. Not, where I'm living now, but like if I'm like texting or something when I was still living with my mom, I'd accidentally get off on the second floor instead of on the third and walk towards my apartment and then look at the door. Oh, this says 219. I need to go to 319. And then, go up the stairs.
Right.
And I wasn't paying that much attention. But even so, if I turn my key, I'm like, wait, why is my key not working? Oh, it's because I'm at the wrong apartment. I should leave before they try to think I was breaking in or something.
Yeah.
But for it to go that far, for her to be protected for as long as she has been, for her to not be searched or anything, like, I get that the president's ascension to power has emboldened you bitches with all these delusions of, you can treat us like any brand of shit you want.
But you can't.
But, oh no, they can, for now. Until people get fed up enough and then blood starts running. And frankly, I'm just going to step over it.
Yep. Could not care less.
Until you do right by me.
I'm not doing this.
Exactly. But, like, what's still flooring me about it is that they issued and signed a warrant to search a dead man's apartment. A dead man's apartment. There's nothing that you're going to even get from putting a warrant out on a dead man. He's already dead. You can't convict his fucking soul for something. No, but we're going to try to do as much as we can to smear this guy who, as far as I know, has been A, gorgeous, and B, an upstanding citizen all around. Had no record, had no issues, was in the middle of going for something school related, and I'm sure I can look it up or y'all can correct me, but that's not the point. The fact of the matter is that he was innocent, he was doing nothing wrong, he was chilling inside his own fucking apartment, opened the door because somebody kept banging the fuck on it, and then she, shot him because...
Oops.
Oh my. Like, how the fuck do you mix up... How,
You don't.
And the thing is, like, I've been high, I've been drunk, I've been all kinds of sideways. Like, and I won't say how old I was, but at one point, came home from a party at a friend's house, completely like up the fuck side down, somehow made it back home and made it back to my apartment without any issue. I didn't even have the oops, wrong floor issue.
Y'all just bad at lying at this point. Y'all think y'all can just say whatever and everybody's gonna be okay with it. You didn't mix up his apartment. what your real intentions were, what your motives were, are up in the air, kind of.
Oh,
right
there's
now.
one. There's one floating around that he like snubbed her for a date or something.
That's right. Isn't there like a picture of them together? Or something?
Allegedly, that's one of those details that's still kind of dubious, and I'm waiting for more to come out.
Yeah. So if that was the motive, girl.
Like, can you just like smear some shit on his door and call it a day? You didn't have to fucking kill him.
You went and just shot him to death. And then you went
And
around and
because
you were
you're-
like, oh, I fucked up, you guys. We don't want this to get on the news. Let's put a search warrant on his house.
And the thin blue line, stands by it, which is why I do say, have said, and will always say that all cops are bastards. All of them, each and every one. Yes,
anybody
even,
who's-
yes, even your uncle. Yes, even your dad. Even your granddad. Even you. Because you contribute to a system that ain't shit. You contribute to a system that was born out of slave catching patrols.
As we need to keep reminding.
You contribute to a system that disproportionately attacks people of color. You contribute to this system and expect to be considered a good person because of it. The issue is that all cops are bastards, period, end of story. They're either actively shitty, complicitly shitty, and saying nothing and standing by the thin blue line.
Or ignorantly shitty.
No, because they know what's going on. They know what's going on. There's too much going on with social media and stuff
That's
happening.
fair.
They're either actively shitty, passively and complicitly shitty, or unemployed. Every single cop that I've seen that has tried to make some kind of major
out.
change
It's
in
gone.
their police department
He's gone.
has been desk jobbed or blackballed overall. Whereas all these people that get police brutality charges, get this, that, and the third and the fourth and the fifth attributed to them, they just get shifted to another department or something, and it gets swept under the rug. I bet they took a page from the Catholic Church's playbook. Interesting.
How about that?
Look, another ancient institution. Yes, I'm talking about you Catholics. Y'all need to walk the fuck away from your church, each and every one of you, because the highest authority, barring your deity, is condoning and co-signing the abuse shit that is, still happening, has been happening longer than Vesta or I have been alive.
And
yet somehow the Catholic Church has not been burnt the fuck down and redone. You ain't shit.
yeah, exactly.
While we're talking about ain't shit cops, guess whose trial has finally begun?
That one guy, whatever his name is.
The killer of Laquan McDonald. Again, I'm not saying his name.
Yeah, the one I went in on the other day.
Oh, yeah,
With his
yeah.
whole, I didn't think this was gonna happen to me bullshit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did say that, didn't he?
I didn't want any of this to happen. I
Well,
want
then you
people
shouldn't
on
have
my
emptied your
side.
whole ass
Yeah.
service pistol into him.
Like, oh, okay, whatever. You ain't sorry till you get caught.
Something, Rihanna.
Yeah,
Oh, shit, how did that song go?
I don't remember. I don't know. I was thinking of Keisha Cole for a second. I don't know. any
Oh,
of
God, keep
songs.
her caterwauling ass out of here. No, I'm thinking of Take a Bow.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell me you're sorry, cause you're not.
Exactly.
Baby, because I know you're only sorry you got caught.
There we go. That's the song. Yeah.
That.
So,
And that's the fact of the matter. Y'all are sorry. You're never sorry.
nope.
Just own the fuck up to it and move on. Because you're going to get a paid vacation. Like, I didn't know I was a, paid vacation token.
Apparently
Like,
so.
all I got to do is die and become a hashtag and you get a paid vacation. So, yeah. Like, that murderer's trial is ongoing, and Officer Wrong Apartment is currently getting dragged by anybody with more than 2 brain cells to rub together.
Yep.
So, like I said, this will probably come up again later on in future episodes just to see what happens.
Yep. But do we have anything else to add to that?
I don't think I do. I'm tired.
Yeah. I think we're good.
I'm exhausted, and I'm ready to go home and
Sleep.
do laundry and play more Spider-Man. Which
Spider-Man.
just a quick 10-second stand. That game is lit. If you have a PS4 and $60 to burn, go get it.
The
Go get
villains
it.
are dope.
The villains are dope.
story is dope.
The story is well.
Characters are dope. This is dope.
The game is absolutely gorgeous. The suits look amazing. The combat, once you get the hang of it, the combat is fluid. I know for a fact Insomniac took... Wait, did Insomniac... Wait.
They made Batman, yes.
They did make Batman.
So that's why
Arkham
everything's
series.
very Batman.
That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
similar. Okay, I never even noticed that. But yeah, I never put 2 and 2 together that they were both the same developing
I
company.
guess that's why everybody's so excited because they made Arkham Asylum and Arkham City and Arkham
Arkham
Batman
Knight.
Arkham Origins, I think is what it's called. Yeah. They made Spider-Man. That's why it's so good.
But yeah, there's something happens around the midpoint of the storyline, and I'm not going to spoil it, but suffice to say,
That flips the whole fucking game.
because up until that point, it's fairly,
It's very
it's a
comic
fun,
booky.
it's a fun Spider-Man game. Yay!
And then that happens,
beating
and you're
bad
like,
guys.
oh.
And then all of a sudden,
It's just, oh,
all of a sudden,
it's real
shit.
now.
Shit.
It's real now.
It gets pretty real, but the swinging is still fun.
Yep.
The movement in general is pretty simple, pretty fluid. Also, shout out to Insomniac for including more accessibility things in their gaming, or in that game specifically. There is an option to skip the spectrograph and microchip puzzles that you do.
Yep.
I don't remember if you get full credit for it or not. I think you do, just so that it's still fair. But there's two separate kinds of puzzles that Spidey has to do from time to time to figure things out, and some of them may not be the easiest for people with limited mobility or limited patience or limited, puzzle solving capacity. So you have an option in the options where you can turn it on and give it a try for a minute or two, and then hit R1 to just auto solve it if you so desire. It also turns all quick time events, instead of timing, you just press the button when it pops up.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting, because normally in the game it's like you see the icon of the button that you're supposed to press, and then a rapidly shrinking circle around it, and you're supposed to press it right when that circle turns green. When instead you can turn that off, and just when the thing pops up, you just hit the button, or turn it off altogether, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There's also the QuickTime events where you have to rapidly hammer a button, where you can change it so that way you just have to hold the button. Which throwback shout out to the Shenmue series for really popularizing QuickTime events.
Yeah.
Which I might be downloading that onto my PlayStation.
Rightfully so. But I think we're good. Yeah?
I think that is all we've got. And again, quick closing announcement. Again, we are live on SoundCloud within the next couple days. We're going to be uploading this episode as well as all of the previous ones to it, so all you audio-only girls can actually, listen and get your life. We also, at least until schedules solidify, because fuck retail. But until schedules solidify, we're going to be moving to a bi-weekly broadcast.
Yep. Gives us time to edit and make shit actually sound a lot more tighter than it has been.
Yeah, because, the edits have been... Because I've gone back and listened to a couple of the episodes, and they sound pretty good. Sound-wise, they sound really good. But I feel like we'll be able to churn it out a lot more regularly if we do a bi-weekly broadcast instead of a weekly broadcast.
Right.
Now, that has the ability to change in the future. For all we know, we will find our stride and be as tight as the Reed, for example, who records on Wednesday and uploads by like noon the following Thursday.
I don't know how y'all do that.
Because they're in an actual studio.
Y'all just oof. All right. Let's see. What are we going to mention? We have the Facebook page, of course.
The Baldwin Kids Podcast Facebook page. Give us a like.
Like that shit. Share it. If you don't like it, share it with your enemies.
Exactly. If you've got any questions, comments, great ideas, suggestions, mental health stories, especially given this week's subject.
And coping mechanisms. Let's not forget that either.
Shoot us an email at askthebkcast@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of me, you can... shoot me a DM or at me on Twitter. My handle is my handle is the Iron Magnus. That's THEIRONMAGNUS.
If you want to find me, I'm on Instagram, House of Fire, house_of_fire. There's a lot of selfies. You get a lot of good looks at me.
Right. And depending on how much interest we get, we'll probably put a poll on the Facebook page. So again, give us a like and you can participate in that poll. Depending on whether or not we get interest for it, we may create separate Instagram and Twitter pages specifically for the podcast.
Yep.
All right.
Alrighty. I think that's it.
In that case, stay woke, stay tired.
Drink lots of tea.
Oh yes, drink tea, drink tears, drink the blood of your enemies.
Drink the blood of the men. Oh, I almost said the innocent. Whoops. I was watching Spawn last night, you guys. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, some of these cops seem like they want to drink the blood of the innocent. Oh,
Ooh.
sorry.
All right. On that note,
Actually,
we'll
no,
see
I
y'all
ain't sorry.
later.
I ain't sorry. I ain't sorry. I ain't sorry.
Bye. You guys.
Bye.